Altan, to start with, why don't you talk about near DA? DA has been, the most hot space. Specifically,
Mhm.
after the launch of rollups, the world has got to know about data availability in a very different way. So, I
Mhm.
myself, when I heard about rollups, fine, but when I got inside the architecture and the first time I heard about that, oh, call data on Ethereum can be handled in another way as well, and there are cheaper alternatives. There is a different architecture which can be adopted. I myself was, very elated, hearing these architectures. So why don't you
Mhm.
talk about the data availability in general and specifically, near leading the initiative from the front?
Yeah, I mean, so if you're building a blockchain, I mean, you end up building a data availability layer from scratch. I mean, that obviously, Ethereum has DA, but all the other L1s has a DA. And this started for us kind of like in August. We're really, I mean, if historically, Near just implemented sharding, and the sharding roadmap, but actually kind of like was Ethereum 2.0 realized. It's also kind of funny because one of our founders, Alex, has like posts in some of the Ethereum governance forums like proposing sharding design. So it just didn't align at that time, like 2018, 2019. So Near didn't end up working, I guess, like on the sharding front, but just kind of build a sharded blockchain. So then we started, okay, like in August when we sit down together, we're like, how do we sort of enable Ethereum scaling users using Near Stack? I mean, data availability was the first thing, is to offer, we have cheap DA that's built on Near, and then how do we package that into a basic, like very simplistic architecture, and then ship it to rollup builders. So that was kind of the motivation behind it, and we quickly built it out in like 2-3 months. So it's like it's literally, it's very simple. It's just one smart contract that's optimized for cost, and then we have one RPC node that you can run yourself to just kind of like dump the data, and one light node where if you go to that light node, the Ethereum transaction, you can get the data. So that's simplistic architecture. And in terms of DA, like we're sharded, so every shard has its own DA, around like 4 MB per second. We've tested this on the mainnet, and that was quite successful. And then it's way cheaper than Celestia and Ethereum too. So that's cause, I mean, mainly we kind of hacked the consensus layer a little bit on our side. But yeah, I mean, it's in short, like data availability is just when you call a certain data, ensuring that data is there on a blockchain or any other infrastructure, really. So I mean, that's what it means, and it's kind of nice to see blockchains going in that sort of like modular route that cloud has gone through. So
No, absolutely. I agree with it 100%. And, like you said, it's very simple architecture, but we know that simple things makes the biggest impact sometimes. And,
yeah.
data availability is making that huge impact into the roll-up ecosystem. So, if you talk about Zeeve, so we've been, a partner with NearDA, and specifically because we are deep into the roll-up ecosystem, we ensure that people who are building on different roll-up stacks, be it, optimistic stack, Arbitrum, zkSync, zkStack, or Polygon CDK, we make their lives easier. So we got
Mm-hmm.
this automation platform through which you can quickly set up these devnets. And while setting up those devnets, you can also, create your own choices about which DA would you want, which, interop layer you would want. And NearDA has been, vital to all those. And we then offer monitoring dashboards and a lot of analytics around rollups, which is unseen anywhere as of today. People, develop or run rollups on command lines, but we have changed the game there. We allow people to see and visualize these rollups onto their web browsers and also operate and configure different complex things by not getting into the command lines again, but simply through a very simple, intuitive interface, and then also monitor through those graphs and charts on how things are happening onto their rollups, which include block processing, transaction batching. So all the components and services running underneath are monitored 24/7. And then we offer alerts, triggers, notifications, and enterprise SLA. And then most important of all is to work with the partners like Near for different integrations and services. So you do not have to go as a user to 20 different partners to figure out account abstraction, to figure out interoperability, to figure out data availability, on ramp, off ramp, and many similar integrations. We bundle them all together on our platform and let our users enjoy the journey. So Near DA has been a very important partner for us, and we keep hearing from our customers every other day about how can they make their DA usage most effective. And specifically when it comes down to cost, nothing beats Near. You already said that. So yeah, when we talk about customers on DA, we educate them, but because this industry is new, but from customers' perspective, it's well understood. They do not know, they're not much aware and all. But how does a Near level blockchain protocol, which is one of the top protocols out there already, gotten into DA space? What was the thought behind it?
Yeah, I mean, mainly it was Ethereum alignment. If you look around, sort of, I mean, we started working closely with rollups, pretty much with decentralized front ends. So we built this product called, Boss. So the idea is to dump all your front end code to Near and render it from a blockchain. So that's kind of like never been done before. You've seen like the file coins and stuff, but they're quite not different. They're not like a general purpose blockchain. I mean, they're built for just storing your data. So we, in August when we went to ETH Denver, we're like, ETHCC. We've kind of seen this demand of like everybody was complaining about how much they pay for data availability, and which is true. Like we've built a dashboard that if you were to use Near DA, like it's like 7 figures that people can save money for like popular rollups. So data availability, like providing to Ethereum, is also like providing value to Ethereum developers in general. So that was the thought there, and we've seen some quite success with that, and then we did a partnership with Eigen, and same with Polygon on zk Wasm. So all of the stacks are, all of the things we're building are kind of helping the space, not like just Near. So that's kind of the logic, and it's been quite successful. Like I think gave us some mind share in the Ethereum ecosystem as well, because everybody's like, oh, Near has the DA too. Let me check that out, which is a good sign for us too. So.
No, you're absolutely right. Exactly when you said that people, Near also got a DA. People only knew Near as one of the pioneer layer one chains, one of the fantastic chains out there. But now they also know it as a DA provider, and not just a DA provider, one of the best and most economic DA provider out there. And we being the RaaS provider, at Zeeve, when we take this education to our customers, they ask so many type of questions around DA, and some of them are very educated about DA themselves. So they ask about Celestia DA, Near DA, Avail DA. So how do you when somebody would ask you that how Near is different from those other providers, how would you define it? I think it'll help us big time educate our customers as well when in need.
Yeah, when you join, first, if you use Near DA, you become part of a Near ecosystem, which is quite large in terms of monthly active users, and and the other thing is, like, I guess Celestia, Eigen DA, Avail, all these networks are quite new, in crypto, the longer the network runs, the better the network is, because that's kind of how we establish ourselves. Near has been running for 4 years. Near DA is part of, it goes through the blockchain, so it uses the blockchain itself. It's scalable. It's probably we have a lot of transactions going through the network. So that's one, I guess, like very reliable, and the gas costs are sort of by nature near. It can only go more like 20x to the base cost. So, I mean, 20x is like still open on 1 year or something like that. So the gas cost can't just spike versus the other providers like Celestia. You can actually have collisions, and you can see it's kind of like the Ethereum model. So you could see if it's used a lot, you could see a high gas fees. And yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's also cheap, right? I mean, for us, it's just three things: reliable, cheap, and scalable. It's always been the case for us, and that's yeah, that's how we differentiate ourselves. We are aware that we don't use dAs, like, but that's we have new things coming. Like, hopefully, we can announce in March in Denver. That comes with like some of the zk stuff that comes into DA as well. So, but overall, it just relies on the blockchain.
Right. Perfect. So, what all stacks do you support already? So, we've been delivering these different rollups to our customers already. We support Optimistic Stack, we support Arbitrum Orbit chains, we support zkSync, zkStack, both L2 and L3 hyperchains, and then we support Polygon CDK based layer 2 chains. So, if we have to see where the near DA is a right fit and exact fit and ready today, what stacks those will be
Yeah, so it's
from
currently
readiness?
supported with Optimism, Optimism, not Superchain though. I think same problem with Celestia as well. None of the LPAs are compatible with Superchain. We have Arbitrum integrated. We have Polygon CDK for validium, and zkSync is I think we're working on it. We'll probably have it soon.
Right. I'll ask one more question, which is, very important for, again, customers' perspective. Usually when choosing a DA, what two primary factors, just maybe, if you want to walk into customer shoes for a while, imagine if you are building a rollup, say on Polygon
Mhm.
CDK or zkSync, zkStack, then what two factors you would keep at, the top of the table to decide, which type of DA would you want and how you would see those factors available in near DA. Of course,
Yeah, I mean,
cost being the one, but something beyond the cost, if there is any.
yeah, I mean, for example, so like how much data this DA provider can um, handle per second, like,
Got it.
megabytes per second. Because I mean, if there's a lot of sort of rollups writing onto DA, at some point, like you can pass that threshold. The other thing is, like, I guess, um, how do you get the data, and if the sequencer goes down, how do you get the data and then just like reconstruct the blockchain pretty fast? I mean, we've seen this with Arbitrum. So those are the two things. For us, it's you can just ping a node and you can get the data pretty fast and construct it.
Right.
But overall, like also the security of the system, I think, like, I mean, Celestia and ourselves, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, there's the economic security. I mean, Celestia is now, it's almost like a 3 billion protocol FTV, which a lot of people are stakers. But it's long time to be seen. I think our validators have survived the bear market. So there's a difference there. But the security of the system is important as well.
Yeah. No, you've been to war many a times. Near has been there, like you said earlier as well. So when it comes to enterprises and Web3 native companies alike looking at DA, specifically from the enterprise perspective, enterprises, they have their own way of looking at things, and with rollups, we also are seeing that a lot of enterprises are coming to surface and trying to explore these rollups, because they offer strong tokenization, yet they offer strong privacy or permissioning required, plus zero knowledge stacks. They bring in a lot of promises for enterprises. Now, how do you see enterprises utilizing DA the best way? Is there any additional benefit they get around when they utilize DA? Is there any privacy related, permission related thing they can achieve out of a DA?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite tough. I mean, you can have, like, I guess you can have a private blockchain where you can dump your data there. I mean, that's another idea for enterprise. just like cloud, I mean, you get for Near, you get credits. Like it's depends on the how big the rollup is, like 6 to 12 months of like free DA. But apart from that, I believe in a. I mean, this is also Elias, our founder's point of view as well. I believe in a world where DA is commoditized. I mean, this is just becoming very obvious now. I think costs are going to zero, and you will see that with Celestia and everybody else. Like, I mean, you're even seeing that with Ethereum now. It's just like for the dang sharding and costs are going to go down. Ideally, costs will go as low as like the storage fees on cloud. Like that's what it is. So I mean, overall, like if I were to pick a DA partner, I think it's nice to think about just not DA, but like the ecosystem, what you get out of the team, you know, how hands-on the team is and things like that. I think that makes more sense. But I think the rollup stack is more important than the DA itself. Like that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. And I think that's a very interesting revelation. And I think that brings you to my last question as well. We are a RaaS provider. We are, the front party to interact with the customers. We deliver them the rollups. We deliver them the real outcome, the network with all sort of integrations underneath, which includes DA as well. So, how do you see, partnering with Zeeve, going forward or paving the way forward for more adoption for near DA?
I mean, it's quite interesting that you guys have the zkSync one. A lot of folks don't have it, which is great. We'd love to. I mean, we're exploring how we can be the kind of the first, one of the actually probably the first alt DA that zkSync would do. So quite excited about that. And I've looked around and you guys have a bit of a more enterprise focus. So some rollup providers don't, which is great because they are like more like, hey, these guys came to us and they're more crypto native, which is quite nice. And I think you guys also do like the full nodes, not just DA, pretty much, right? You'd run the full nodes, pretty much all the stacks, more of like a DevOps.
Yeah, we've been there for 4+ years already, and we've been into Web3 infrastructure in all bits and bytes possible. From the traditional permission blockchains like Cordas and Fabrics of the world to the nodes infrastructure, including validator nodes, archive nodes. In fact, we have a couple of customers where, not just a couple more customers where we've been running near nodes as well for them. And then, the rollup space where we pretty much support all the leading rollup stacks. And when we deliver those rollup stacks, which means setting up all type of nodes, creating the whole infrastructure, setting up faucets, explorers, bridges, integrating DAs, integrating interop solutions, integrating account abstraction, and achieving native account abstraction as well. So yeah, we are pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, just going through having been able to like help you guys in any way that sort of like showing the strength of near DA is always helpful for us. And if we get any enterprise clients, it's just kind of relationships,
Yeah, right. No, I think that's going to happen. Eventually, that's going to happen because we're also seeing a lot of Web3 native customers and enterprises alike adopting to rollups. And when that'll happen, DA is an essential, or you can say, one of the most vital components of it. And, this partnership will help us bridge those gaps and take this technology to the customer, which they are not aware of, but it's phenomenal in terms of how they achieve their rollups. So, we would be really excited to take some of those initiatives with near DA and with some customers live in action. We already have many customers who are going into production this month, and some announcements are happening at Denver as well. So yeah, we would be going live with some of the use cases where near DA is a primary DA provider into those rollups. Yep. I think this has been really interesting to talk to you, Altan, and thank you for your time. Is there anything else you would want to mention before we break off?
Just like nice to mention that. I mean, like data is just part of chain abstraction for us. Like it's abstracting all the chains. The cloud starts to kind of like started in a way that abstracted all the complexities of running servers. Right? I mean, pretty much that's kind of the goal for near. Given it came from Google, and we kind of have that background of like how do we sort of abstract, and DA is just part of it. It's just using near's blockchain to deliver cheap costs, and the users shouldn't care what DA is. And currently it's not the case, and it's a bit of a speculative matter, but it will get there at some point. So that's kind of where we are. And chain abstraction means like you could, when you show up the crypto app, you don't even know where it is, right? That's kind of what the future looks like for us.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And thank you for those, final remarks on how the ecosystem is growing and where it is going. Yeah, looking forward to speaking with you again as well. And yeah, more power to Near DA and Zeeve, and let's try to help the rollup ecosystem thrive, not just exist, and do our bits.
Thanks, Ghan.
Yeah, thank you, Alvin. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.